male and female. He created them and he blessed them. And in the day he created them, he called them man or mankind, depending on which version you're reading of Genesis 5:2. That is the foundation of our existence. And it shouldn't be up for debate. Male and female, God created in his image, both together, because both together can create life. You cannot create life with male and male or female and female, despite what popular science and pseudoscience and science fiction, like stuff in Jurassic Park or whatever, want to lay out. And I bring all this up because there's a headline today. The New York Times or the New York Post is getting a lot of backlash for a story that they put calling biological females non-transgender women. Now, there's already been so other terms that they've been called: uterus heifers, birth parents, you name it. And they've been called it anything other than female, because to call them female is to indirectly call a biological male who thinks he's a female something other than a female. It just gets so ridiculous trying to cater to feelings that have been manipulated by a very evil force in this world. And when you're blind to the spiritual nature of our existence and those forces at play that are sabotaging the minds of so many who believe their favorite pop star or singer or actor or athlete, who are pushing these agendas blindly because they're being rewarded by the world, whether it's music, cinema, whatever. We've been conditioned to accept things that God never intended us to accept. And it wasn't because he was trying to deprive us of something. It's because he was trying to protect us from the freedom that our own free will that he gave us allows us to have. There's a danger there. Free will is very dangerous, but without it, love is not possible. God is love. God created us in his image, takes male and female to make love, to create life. Everything else is a delusion, and we're living under a strong delusion right now. And we're warned in Matthew 24 about a strong delusion overtaking, especially the minds of those that don't believe. Even the ones who do believe could possibly be deceived, or the very elect could be deceived if times were not cut short. But in this article, it's all about this volleyball player who, despite having teammates who have filed a lawsuit against her because they're afraid, just in practice, they're afraid to set her up playing against their opponents, that she's going to injure somebody, because they realize the difference in hitting power her spikes have or his spikes have versus typical females they're used to playing against. And yet only one female voice is being listened to, and that is of the transgender player. You have to ask yourself, if you're justifying this some way or somehow, why that is. Why aren't both female, if you want to call it separate types of females, why aren't we getting equal coverage of both sides of this story? It's just like the Leah Thomas. Everything was justifying Leah Thomas's actions despite taking opportunities, medals, scholarships, potential rewards away from biological women. It seems like this should be it's like if people who are for Christ, for truth, can't win this argument, that's the perfect sign. And there shouldn't be any arguments. We share love and truth. We're not trying to argue. But if people can't be convinced of this truth, that there is male and female and that's it, and everything else is a delusion of mind control and just conditioning over the decades and years of just constantly perverting minds with things that aren't true and further away from God's truth. If we're at a point where this is something we can't convince people of, that this is God's truth, then clearly we are living in that time of great delusion. And who knows how much longer we have. So now is the time to share truth and love about Jesus with everyone around you, including those who believe this, that are sticking up for these trans players who are forcing their way into sporting, locker rooms and events that should be only for biological females. We're propping up pro sports and pro female sports at the same time as we're destroying it. But it's not the sport that's under attack. It's God's creation that's under attack. And that truth is behind every lie that's being sold to so many people right now. So when we wake up to that, we can wake up to truth. The way to do that is to seek Jesus. I pray you do that today. Seek Jesus with all you have, especially if you're going through anything. Seek him, call his name. He will not let your knocks go unanswered. God bless you. We'll see you tomorrow.